At the center of American finance stand buildings that look like monuments to trade but operate as monuments to power. Firms and exchanges here run without pause, shaping policies felt in every household. No citizen elected them. Their authority comes from money, influence, and access to the rules that govern the country, and they do not act alone. Alongside them operate media giants, military contractors, corporate empires, and private strategists whose names rarely reach the public. The question many avoid becomes unavoidable. Who governs the United States? Welcome to Political Plot, where we cut through the noise to reveal the power plays shaping American politics. Today we're diving into the hidden power structure shaping America, uncovering how corporations, media giants, and entrenched elites quietly influence national decisions far more than elections suggest. It's a look at who really governs behind the scenes and why so many citizens feel their power slipping away. Every election season, the country is told it is choosing its future. Campaigns dominate screens, turning politics into a polished performance where branding overshadows substance. Candidates are packaged like products, and billions are spent on emotional persuasion rather than meaningful debate. On the surface, it looks like democracy in motion, but holding office does not automatically equal holding power. Voters believe they direct the nation's course, yet the boundaries of real decision-making are set long before ballots are cast. Ask ordinary people, and you hear the same uncertainty. They sense that the true decision makers live behind closed doors and inside institutions that resist public scrutiny. This intuition reflects a deeper reality. Power usually works quietly. It shapes outcomes without announcing itself. Scholars who study American political structures explain that there is no single ruler but an intricate network linking corporations, the military, and the upper reaches of government. It is not a secret plot, but a lasting system built over generations. Leaders come and go, the underlying establishment remains. Inside this system, presidents can adjust priorities but rarely alter the framework itself without facing enormous institutional pushback. This dynamic lies behind the public's frustration with Congress. Many sense lawmakers are limited not only by partisan conflict, but by the influence of donors and industries that finance their campaigns. Lobbyists with vast resources can pressure Washington in ways working communities cannot match. When a corporation hints at relocating jobs, entire towns can lose leverage in an instant. People juggling multiple jobs, raising children, and pursuing education describe how the dream of economic stability feels increasingly distant. Costs rise, opportunities shrink, and simple goals like completing school start to feel unreachable. They are told they are the backbone of the nation, yet rarely feel their voices matter. Researchers who track wealth concentration see a pattern. The richest Americans influence the country through interconnected institutions, from law firms to think tanks to lobbying organizations. Their power is not hidden. It is built into the structure of the state. Economic interests and governance are fused so tightly that separating them is nearly impossible. The energy sector illustrates this clearly. Major oil companies operate with minimal oversight, and regulations often reflect input from industry insiders. Media companies dependent on advertising revenue soften criticism. When disasters occur, public relations campaigns attempt to restore the industry's image faster than accountability can catch up. The public sees gas prices rise and watches polished commercials, but not the negotiations that shape energy policy behind closed doors. Media influence reaches even further. Journalists who have worked inside major networks describe how familiar experts are elevated repeatedly, especially during geopolitical tensions. Voices challenging dominant narratives struggle for airtime. Careers can suffer for questioning assumptions that support military or economic interests. The system favors those who reinforce, not disrupt, the worldview of the institutions funding it. Political debate often narrows into disputes between Democrats and Republicans, masking the deeper divides shaped by class. Many avoid the language of class altogether, but workers feel that divide daily in wages, in attitudes toward public schools, and in judgments about service work. Lobbying and campaign financing do more than influence politics. They form the structure through which modern policy is created. The belief that the nation is uniquely virtuous or chosen fosters a comforting but incomplete understanding of power. Indigenous scholars remind us that the country's foundation involved the displacement of original nations, a reality essential to understanding modern systems of authority. Movements like Occupy emerged because many felt removed from decisions that determined their futures. Inspired by uprisings across the world, activists tried to rebuild grassroots democracy and remind people that isolation was an illusion. They changed national national conversation even if they could not dismantle the structures they opposed. But these movements face powerful resistance from wealthy institutions with political backing. Working people recognize class divisions instinctively. They feel resentment from above, attacks on public sector benefits, and narratives that frame essential workers as undeserving. They see conversations framed around cutting opportunities rather than expanding them for all. Beneath all this lies a quiet grief. The promise of stability through hard work has faded into the hope of simply staying afloat. Many struggle to balance work, school, and family while still believing in long-term dreams. Yet gatherings of activists and scholars offer them tools to understand the forces shaping their lives, and they take that knowledge home hoping to spark awareness. These voices reflect the country's deeper struggle. People want agency, they want transparent power, they want a system that values their contributions instead of sidelining them. But reality is harsh. The entrenched elite hold disproportionate influence over policy and public life, making genuine transformation difficult. So the question remains, who rules the United States? Power follows influence. It gathers in boardrooms shaping markets, in media networks framing narratives, in military contracts guiding foreign policy, and in political offices that often respond to these forces rather than direct them. People ask the question not only to find an answer, but to reclaim their place in the story. They want to believe power can be shared. They want to believe the dream is not gone. And this search, unresolved and persistent, is why the question continues to echo: who truly rules America?